Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. This is Lori Spencer. Thanks for attending the urgent campaign supporters meeting for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Glad to see you guys here tonight. This will probably be a short meeting. I'm kind of tired, and honestly, my stomach is tied up in knots. I'm so upset over what's happening with this Twitter poll that I've been running for the past 5 days. You can find the poll if you go to my Twitter page. It's pinned tweet there at the top of the page. And you'll see the question is, who gets your vote in 2024? And the options are Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and then there's a fourth option for other or undecided. And that poll began, I believe, on last Friday, I think it was. It's a 7-day poll. And in the first 24 hours, that poll took off like a rocket. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was winning it by a landslide. He was beating President Trump by almost 20 points in the poll, which is pretty amazing. And in the first couple of days, it racked up 918 votes. And then on Sunday, Easter Sunday, I noticed that the poll just froze up at 918 votes. It didn't record another vote. And it hasn't recorded another vote since Sunday, which is pretty amazing because the tweet currently has almost 17,000 impressions, many, many retweets, lots of likes. And I know for a fact that people have voted since Sunday. Many people have sent me screenshots proving that they voted, date and time stamped screenshots showing that they voted, they cast their vote. And that poll is open until midnight tonight. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you to please retweet that poll. And please ask your supporters to make sure to take screenshots, both before they vote, that shows the vote count at the bottom of the poll that currently says 918 votes. And here's how the trick works. Here's how Twitter is doing this. When you vote, it'll take you to the next screen. It'll show you 919 votes. So for a minute there, you're fooled and you think, oh, my vote was recorded. See, I'm number 919. But then close the browser window, wait about a minute, go back and refresh the poll page. And you'll see your vote disappear, just like magic. 919 votes? Nope, your vote is gone. And it's back to 918 votes. And that poll has been sitting right there at 918 votes for the last 5 days. Hasn't picked up a single vote. That's bullshit. And we all know it. We all know it. And there are other Twitter accounts that have been messed with in the exact same way when they run polls. One reached out to me, Iraq Body Count, which is a wonderful group that I've been following for, almost 20 years now. And they're pretty good at deciphering fuzzy math because they've been deciphering the Pentagon's fuzzy math on the Iraq war dead tally for many, many years now. So their poll was also messed with in the same way. It just stopped counting votes. When we have a poll that has a result the establishment does not like, they rig that poll to make sure that it just doesn't count the votes. It does not record the votes. So, guys, if it's easy enough to rig a Twitter poll to not count votes, just imagine what those nifty electronic voting machines can do. What if the voting machines just kind of stopped counting votes for a particular candidate or just didn't count your vote at all? But you got a little receipt from the machine saying your vote was recorded, but it wasn't. What if it wasn't? That's a pretty scary thought, isn't it, guys? So I'm going to open up the floor to speakers and questions. If anybody wants to raise their hand, I'll add you. If you have anything you want to say about the campaign or about the poll. There's also some really, really exciting polls this week coming in. I don't know if you've seen the new Rasmussen poll, but Bobby Kennedy hasn't even started his campaign yet. The official launch party and the announcement is next week on April the 19th. So on that date, he will be, officially announced and in the race. And already we're seeing some really, really, really great polling coming in from Rasmussen, where Bobby made a very strong initial showing, and he's not in the race yet. Obviously, this campaign is upsetting the right people, which is just great. And I see Matthew's here, my co-host. Let me send you an invite to co-host, Matt, so you can join the show. And would anybody else like to speak? Just raise your hand if you'd like to step up to the mic, and I'll add you. So I'm going to read you the results of this Rasmussen poll. One of the poll questions, I'll read you two of them. One question says, if Biden runs for re-election in 2024, should other Democrats challenge him in the Democratic presidential primary? And 62% of Democrats said yes, someone should challenge him in the primaries. 62%. 28% said no. 10% said they weren't sure. Now, 71% of Republicans want to see another Democrat challenge Biden. No surprise there. But here is the really interesting question. It says, environmental lawyer Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has declared himself a candidate in the 2024 Democratic presidential primary. Do you support or oppose Kennedy's presidential campaign? And 25% of Democrats, a quarter of Democrats polled, say they strongly support Robert F. Kennedy Jr. 27% say they somewhat support RFK Jr. 10% say they somewhat oppose him. I guess you'd call that lukewarm. 22% say they strongly oppose him. And 16% say they're not sure. What's kind of interesting, though, is when you look over at the Republican voters who were polled, 13% say they strongly support Kennedy. 27% say they somewhat support him. 13% say they somewhat oppose him. 19% of Republicans say they strongly oppose Robert Kennedy Jr. And a large number, the largest number, 28% of Republicans say they're just not sure about Kennedy. I think Republicans are pretty divided right now in general. And then there's the other category, which I guess would include Greens and Libertarians and Independents who don't have a party affiliation. 15% told Rasmussen that they strongly support Robert F. Kennedy Jr. 29% said they somewhat support him. 12% somewhat oppose Kennedy. 18% strongly oppose Kennedy of independents. And again, the pretty large segment of the independent vote still undecided. 27% say that they aren't sure if they support Kennedy or not. Hey, Matthew, I see you made it. Say hello.
Hey, Lori, I don't have a ton of time tonight, and I just wanted to jump in, briefly. So I'm probably going to be mostly listening, but it is definitely exciting to see that there are so many respondents to that Rasmussen poll who support RFK for president.
Yeah, they took a pretty good sample size. They polled about 950 registered voters. And that's about roughly the same size as the sample size of the poll I've been running here on Twitter. We would have had 10,000 votes by now if Twitter actually counted people's votes. Currently, that poll is frozen at 918 votes, where it's been frozen for the last 5 days. So currently, our sample size is right on par with Rasmussen. And it looks like those are all the votes we're going to get in that poll because Twitter has just decided, we're going to stop counting votes. Has anyone here in this room listening to Twitter Spaces, have you guys voted in that Twitter poll yet? Can you give me an emoticon? Give me a thumbs up if you voted in the poll. Have you had any issues voting in that poll? Was your vote counted? Was it not counted? Please let us know. And I see we have some chats coming in. Some comments. Got some volunteers who want to work on the campaign, which is great. Glad to see that. Again, I'm going to encourage everyone to please go to that poll pinned at the top of my Twitter page and take 3 screenshots. Take one screenshot before you vote, that shows the vote count at the bottom of the poll that shows 918 votes. That's screenshot number 1. After you vote, take another screenshot, and Twitter will show you 919 votes. So you'll think, oh, cool, my vote was recorded. I'm number 919. And then take a third screenshot after you refresh the browser. Wait a couple of minutes, close your browser window, come back to the poll, refresh the page, and watch your vote magically disappear. And it'll say 918 votes. Give it a try. And if you have any friends or family members who haven't voted yet, that poll is open until midnight tonight, Central Time. Please forward that poll to others and ask them to take those screenshots. It's really important that you take the screenshots. That's how we prove that something is wrong, and that's how we document the fraud. So it's really important that you take those screenshots. You can post them in the replies to the poll, or you can DM me if we follow each other. You can send me your screenshots in a DM. So yeah, I'm so upset about this whole thing. This will probably be a very brief meeting tonight. I just wanted you guys to know what's going on, that Twitter is already messing with any poll that favors Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or Donald Trump. Obviously, in my opinion, the Biden administration still has its tentacles very deep into Twitter. And I don't know if Elon Musk is aware or if he's not aware of that. I rather believe that he knows. But yeah, the Biden administration obviously didn't like the way that poll was going. It's interesting, the first day that the poll was open, Joe Biden was getting 0 votes. Like for the first 24 hours of the poll, he was literally sitting there at 0%, like 0 votes. And then I noticed the next day he got up to 1%. And then he started creeping up to 2%. And by Sunday, which I think was the second day of the poll, he finally got up to 5% of the vote. And that's when all of a sudden, lo and behold, the poll stopped recording votes. Now, you tell me what's up with that, guys. Any ideas? Anybody have any ideas on how to explain how a poll does that? Yep, looks like you guys are baffled too. I'm going to add our friend here, American Marxist-Leninist. Hello, you're on.
Yeah, I would say the same thing they did with Trump. They're trying to manufacture consent to steal an election. That's really what's going on.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Because Trump was doing well in that poll as well, and Trump's doing really, really well in a lot of Twitter polls. I noticed that Cheryl Atkinson also ran a poll, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Trump. Kennedy did well. I think he got 28, 29% of the vote in her poll. But of course, Trump ran away with it. I think he had 60% or close to 60%. And I think her poll had about 3,000 votes before Twitter shut it down. So yes, absolutely. They are manufacturing consent for a candidate that obviously nobody wants. Every poll is showing that more than 50%, 60% or more of Democrats do not want Joe Biden to seek another term.
Yeah, but that obviously doesn't translate in the polls because the polls are controlled.
Right. And certainly the mainstream media polls are controlled. I've always really liked Twitter polls. I'm a big fan of Twitter polls. Until now, I've hosted a lot of Twitter polls. They always get, at least 5,000 votes, sometimes more than that. And I have always felt until now that they were actually an excellent way to gauge public opinion. And I felt that they weren't rigged. I felt that the vote count was pretty honest. But then something strange happened on Easter Sunday. And from that moment forward, that poll has not recorded one single vote. Also, I've had several followers telling me that since Sunday this week, they can't even find me on Twitter. Even if they search me, they get a bunch of other Lori Spencers popping up. So now I'm becoming invisible. And also my follower count is going haywire. I usually pick up a couple hundred followers a day, new followers. And since Sunday, when obviously somebody pressed a button there at Twitter headquarters and said, shut her up. Ever since Sunday, I haven't gained a single follower. It'll go up to like, what's my current follower count? Let me look. It goes up and down by a couple of votes or a couple of followers. I'll get like 8,025 and then 24 and then back up to 25 and then down to 23. But yeah, I usually pick up a couple hundred follows a day. So it seems that I am becoming invisible now in the news feed and even to my own followers who can't find me. And currently, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is suing all of these major social media platforms and the mainstream media in a major antitrust lawsuit. And I did a video about that recently. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can find out more details on that lawsuit. But he's suing Facebook. He's suing Instagram. He's suing Meta. He's suing YouTube. He's suing Google. And by the way, guys, I just want to tell you that every single video that I make about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., when I try to put that up on YouTube, YouTube AI flags that video and tells me that the video either can't be posted or can't be monetized because it may not be suitable for some of our advertisers. Now, we know who their advertisers are. Their advertisers are Pfizer. Their advertisers are Big Pharma. And so I have to request a human review of every single video with YouTube. It's a fight that I go through with YouTube on every video about RFK Jr. I have to have a human review the video, even if it's not about the vaccines at all, if it's just about his presidential campaign. I literally uploaded a video 2 days ago just announcing RFK Jr. enters race for the White House. Very, straightforward news video about him entering the race. And that got flagged as unsuitable for advertisers, not because of the content, but because of who he is, because it's RFK Jr. And eventually a human will review the video and they can't find any reason to put a strike on my channel and they can't find any misinformation. And so they have to let the video stand. But I'm just saying, every video is a fight. It's a fight with YouTube. And here's the real reason they're doing it. They're doing that because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is taking them to court for censoring him as we speak. So he's literally suing Google and YouTube right now. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they're still trying to censor him, trying to throttle him, trying to shadow ban him. And also, I wanted to point out something else that Twitter is doing. I post a lot of my videos on different platforms because YouTube is such a censorship platform. I've got a Rumble channel. I use BitChute. And I did a video recently about this poll that I'm running on Twitter. The poll that Robert F. Kennedy is running away with. I mean, literally leading Trump by 20 percentage points in this poll, which I think is pretty significant. And so I made a video about it. And I put it up on BitChute. And I posted a link to the BitChute video on Twitter. But when you try to click that link, Twitter gives you one of those warnings that says, this site you're entering might be harmful, might be spammy, might be trying to get your personal data. Don't click this link. Whatever you do, don't click this link. So yeah, you have to go through that warning and then you have to click continue. Yes, I want to go ahead onto the site. And you go to BitChute, and it's BitChute for crying out loud. The link is safe. It's not going to hurt your computer. Hackers aren't going to attack your computer if you watch this video. But Twitter is literally trying to scare you away from watching any videos about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on platforms like BitChute. And BitChute's one of those platforms that's, free speech. They post a lot of stuff that's outside the approved narrative. And so as I bring this Twitter space to a close, I just want to encourage everyone to go ahead and vote in my poll, the poll that's pinned to the top of my Twitter page, asking who are you voting for in 2024. It doesn't matter if you're voting for Biden or Trump or RFK Jr. Vote your conscience, vote for who you really support. And unfortunately, as you know, Twitter is messing with this poll. It's been frozen at 918 votes for 5 days since Sunday. I have evidence that Twitter is not counting the votes. And I need more evidence because I'm building a case to show that Twitter is rigging this poll. So please vote in the poll. I'm going to ask you to take screenshots proving that you voted. proving that your vote was either recorded or not recorded. And there are 3 screenshots that you need to take to help prove this case. Take one screenshot before you vote that shows the number of votes at the bottom, which should say 918 votes. Then vote, take a screenshot after you vote, and it will show that the poll is moved by 1 vote. And you'll go, oh, that's me. I'm number 919. And it'll show you 919 votes. Take a screenshot of that. And then wait about a minute or 2, close your browser, and then go back to that poll, reload the page, and boom, your vote will be gone. You'll be back at 918 votes. It's like magic. Just watch your vote disappear. So that's the really important screenshot is number 3, showing that your vote that you cast and was there a minute ago just disappeared. And that's how we prove that there is fraud going on with this poll. And it's not just this poll. There are many others. And so, yeah, I hope that you guys will help me out with that. The poll closes in an hour and a half at midnight Central Time. Please retweet it. Tell your friends and family about that poll. Ask them to vote. Most importantly, ask them to take those all-important screenshots, because that is the only way to prove that Twitter is, in fact, rigging this poll to stop RFK Jr., because he's whipping the pack. He's whipping the pack by a long mile. He's winning this poll by a landslide. And I think that it would otherwise be a very accurate poll if Twitter wasn't messing with it. So I hope you'll pass the word on. Take those screenshots. Please post them either in the poll thread itself, where I can see those screenshots, or if we're following one another, and I made a point to follow everybody here in the room tonight. If you were following me and I hadn't followed you back, I just went through and followed you back. Everybody who's here tonight gets a follow from me. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you for speaking. Did anybody want to add any final thoughts before we close?
Yeah, I just voted on your poll. It looks like it went up to 919. After this space is over, I'll close the app and see if it worked.
I'm real curious to see what happens when you close your browser window, come back a couple of minutes later. It's like magic. Boom. Oh, where'd my vote go? It's gone.
I've seen that happen before with posts. Sometimes a post will get capped on how many likes it can get.
Yes, I have noticed that too. That's another thing they do. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right, my friend.
Can I go next?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Press who I'm gonna vote for. 2024 is gonna be most likely Kennedy, but also I have Trump on my mind too. I really want Kennedy to, make it through the primaries, but we all know he's going to be cheated. Even if he's come up second, they're still going to take votes from him. So they'll make it look like he's not a real challenger,
Right. Well, listen, folks, it's getting kind of late. We've had a wonderful meeting tonight. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight, for joining us, for joining the conversation. It was really interesting to hear your thoughts. And I want to make this a regular thing. We're going to do these campaign meetings here, I think, on Twitter Spaces every Monday night, if that's good for you, at 8:30 Central. So that would be 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern Time. And I hope that you will set a reminder and join us here every week, and we'll put our heads together, come up with some strategy, and figure out how we can get this man into the White House. So thank you again, everybody, for coming out. Thanks for joining this Twitter space. And we recorded it so that others can listen, even if they missed the live broadcast. So if you want, just go ahead and share this Twitter space out and help us get the word out to people. Thanks once again, everybody. I hope you have a great, great, great night. We'll see you soon. Good night.